first and foremost, hats off for all the effort that you've been putting in since morning. It's crazy. So, but kudos. Amazing. And first I asked her, when is my session? And she told me the time. And the first thing I said, lunch ke baad. Like, मुझे गोविंदा का गाना गा के presentation शुरू करनी पड़ेगी so that everybody is awake. But I think all the presenters who've been presenting so far have done a wonderful job, and I was all alert and awake. So I think, hope you guys are so too. So I'm Meena Murthy Kakar, and I'm here on behalf of my company, Envisage. So let me take you through my presentation. Now, as an architect, there is one guilt that is placed on our heads the minute we graduate, and that is the fact that we are responsible for turning this to that. Right? And pretty much true. But you know, as you kind of start working, you kind of push things under the carpet, you ignore it, and you move on. And then comes a time when you get a nice project. This was a school project that we had gotten, and it was a 3-acre site long ago. And it had a beautiful mango orchard on it. It was beautiful. And we suddenly, you know, started ideating, saying that, oh, let's do classrooms in between the trees. Let's do this, do that. The client said, good idea, good idea. And then he went back, and 10 days later, we got an image, which is almost something like this. So, gone. Everything was gone, completely erased. So, you know, this kind of stuck very badly. This guilt that, you know, we are doing this. We need to do something where we can at least make a positive difference to the society in some way or the other, in whatever capability that we could. Now, sustainability is no longer a genre of design. I mean, we have competitions nowadays where you say best home, best school, best this, best that, and you have sustainable design. Is that even a typology? I think sustainable design is a matrix on which we have to do everything now onwards. It's not something that can be thought of as a separate category per se. And sustainability has 3 aspects to it, of course. Environmental sustainability that we are all aware of. Social sustainability, what and how can your product make a difference to the people around it and not just the end user. So that was another, and of course, economic sustainability. If it doesn't make financial sense, it will not be adapted. So when we said, okay, let's talk about design thinking, I think design thinking, the most important part is to arrive at the right questions. If you arrive at the right questions, then half your work, half your battle is already won. So in our case, when we were faced with that challenge of what do we do from here, this is what we started with. Our first question that we came up with was, can we design spaces that spark a conversation about living right? Second, can our spaces bring value to the society at a larger scale than just to the user? And, well, while we are at it, so this thing also came to our mind that maybe can we use the spaces that we are creating as a conversation starter for something else, something deeper. So this is what we thought about. And maybe we could start by doing something very simple, which is to use traditional crafts in a modern setting in our current homes. Where did this thought come from? That's a story. Maybe I'll tell you later. Now, the third question came from this. The third question was that in India, we are as different as chalk and cheese, right? I will not get into how we look. Somebody landed in trouble because of that. But we do look different, and we behave differently. But then, this is what our houses look like now, all of us. I mean, the kind of difference we have in diversity that we have in India, and still, these are our homes. We are equally guilty. We've also done homes like these. But we said, maybe it's time to think and do something different. For instance, if you like to sit like this, then maybe this is not for you. And if you like to entertain like this, then maybe this is not for you. So then, can we design homes that celebrate our unique identity. You know, we are crazy people. We eat in a different way. हम हाथ से खाना खाना में पसंद है, नीचे बैठना पसंद है. You know, so many things are there which are just us. So can we, understand and give importance to that uniqueness that we have through the spaces that we design? We design something called cultural homes. Apart from the fact, of course, that we also do offices and we do schools, but today I'll be talking about the cultural homes that we do. Now, when we say cultural homes, what does it really mean? See, we are talking of sustainability in so many different formats. I think you heard Shantanu Nikhil also speak. Everyone had their own take on sustainability. For a moment, can we stop and think, what was it 2 generations ago? How did we live? What were we doing? Were we sustainable? And you would see that there were a lot of things that we innately did which were beautifully sustainable. Heirloom was one of the things that they spoke about. And of course, making homes with materials available close to your site, maybe using art and craft, using natural materials. I think we have been exceedingly sustainable, and somewhere that chain has been broken. So maybe not all solutions lie in the future. Maybe some of the solutions could come from the past as well. And maybe that would be the right way to move ahead. And that is what we believe at Envisage. We forge into the future with a strong link to the past wisdom. Now, all talk, but let me show you a project that we've done. So I bring to you a project that we've done at Lucknow. It's called the Ramayana House. Now, what is the Ramayana House? It is actually an exercise in spatial storytelling. See, we have storytelling in all forms of art, and architecture is supposed to be the mother of all arts. So where is the storytelling in architecture, you may ask? And this exercise is just one of those that we've done. So quick brief on why we did this. The client, this is the second house of the client, and they said, I wanted a house where I want to interact with my siblings. But as children, we would come together only when an elder was telling us stories of the Ramayana. And so if you could bring some of those elements in, this house was meant for him to interact with his siblings. So he said, let's do it. You would ask me, what has that to do with anything that I was talking about previously? Well, first, it's a cultural connect, and the entire design was done, and the tools that we used were actually local arts and crafts. So let me quickly take you through this. So there were 2 floors on the house, and you had the public areas on the lower floor and the private areas on the upper floor. The story of Ramayana has chapters in it, or kands. Now, what we did was, while we were designing the house, every space was assigned a certain chapter or kand according to its function. For instance, the beginning of the story is Balkand, so the foyer became Balkand. And you could see that we've done a console here which has sketches from the Balkand. And of course, there is this beautiful painting of Ram, which looks like Ram from the distance, but when you kind of zoom into it, it has the entire story which has been kind of designed on it. So that's the beginning of the story. The next chapter is Ayodhya Kand. Now, Ayodhya Kand is where the trio keeps traveling, through the jungles. So all the transit spaces in the house, like the passage, the staircase, were all given Ayodhya Kand. And the flooring that we've done is a hand-cut mosaic floor, so that, you kind of feel the undulations on it like a forest floor. And the artwork that we've used on the wall is a Madhubani mural. Now, why Madhubani? Because Madhubani is also known as Mithila art. And Mithila and Ramayana connection we are aware of. So we used a Mithila art on the wall to take the story forward, and that's the passage and the staircase. Then you have the formal living, which is the Aranyakand. Now, Aranyakand is where the trio settles down in the forest. And when they settle down, they also hold darbars with people. So we decided, okay, the living room becomes our darbar. It's a little grand. And then you also have the cottage, which was the Baitak. So an informal gathering is something that we all love to do when we have our loved ones over. Who sits on a sofa and talks to their family? You will either be squatting on the floor, or you will all be sitting in a very informal way. So the Baitak came into play here. Then you have the dining, which had, again, a mural on the wall. That if you see, actually, it's one mural. We just put a frame in the center and added some color on it. And that's of Shabri feeding bear to Ram. Again, that's how you treat your guests, right? Jhuta khila ke nahi, but giving them the best that you have. Then you have, the next is Kishkinda Kand. Kishkinda Kand has actually a lot of references about animals and birds making their appearance in the story. So we had a small bird feeding corner that was dedicated in the house to birds. The first floor had the family room, which was a Sundarkand. Sundarkand is also a lot about introspection and overcoming the challenges that you have within. So Sundarkand was the family room and the puja room. Yudh Kand cannot be inside the house, so we took it out as a gazebo and turned it into a landscape element. Then the finale was the return to Ayodhya. So we had a very opulent master bedroom with a 4-poster bed and the works. So the next question is, okay, yes, we did this. We did craft integration in a project which had a very Indian core theme to it. But what if, say, someone wants to do a global themed house? Will Indian craft and art still work as something that you would use to do up your house? So we did answer that query through a project, and that is Advaita. This is actually a wabi-sabi house which uses craft. You can see the floor. It's a zero-waste cast in situ terrazzo floor. We've used kalamkari motifs on it. That's a Gonth painting. Murals, that's a floor. The Jhula, again, an essential Indian theme. This is a reclaimed window. That's a Patachitra that you see in the corner, an Orissa Patachitra. So how do you meet the two? This is what we did. And these were our interventions in it. The Gondat that you see in the center is actually a commissioned Gondat from a very brilliant artist, Venkatraman Shyam. So he took 4 months to do this. And wabi-sabi has a theme of respecting nature and the passage of time. And pretty much Indian craft does the same thing too. If you look at the stories behind the craft that we do, plus it's handmade, so you will have imperfections. And wabi-sabi is all about, accepting imperfections of time. So we merged the two, and this is what we did. So you have a 200-year-old restored pillar here with Japandi niches, you have lime wash plaster, and you also have bespoke Indian furniture. See, when we say craft and art, it is not only the craft that is done in the villages, but the new age things that you see. I think Gujarat is, doing a phenomenal job with as far as furniture making is concerned. So you have state-of-the-art work in the contemporary sphere as well. Apart from that, this house also had amazing lighting design, which had things like framers put into place, which will highlight just an artwork, and automation of the latest kind. Everything was built into it, along with all of this. Couple of more pictures. So at the end, I would just want to say one thing. I think if your priorities are sorted and you know what is to be done, you will find a way to do it, no matter what. And that is our primary motive at Envisage. Hope you liked our work. Thank you.